Hey YouTube, so in today's video we're going to be going over how to stay alive in the middle in dodgeball. Playing middle is a very difficult role. Normally you have no balls, you're very exposed, so today I'm going to be going over 3 things that I think are key to helping you stay alive in the middle. And the first one is going to be your mentality. Your second one is going to be your movements, and your third one is going to be just knowing your own play style and knowing how to do things that are going to work better for your body type. So let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to go over is your mentality, and I think this is something that's not talked about at all in dodgeball, and I think it's the most important thing. This definitely helped take my dodging and my just movement in general to the next level. And the first things first, when it comes to staying alive, is you have to know in your mind that you're going to stay alive. You can't have any doubts in your moves. You can't half dodge. Whenever you start to doubt your own movements is when you start getting caught in the middle of movements. For instance, if you tell yourself, "Oh, I'm going to move left," but then you doubt yourself at the last second and you just move your legs left, and let's say your body stays. I see that a lot in new players. So that's the first thing is your mentality. You like once you tell yourself I'm going to move, you have to move. If you tell yourself I'm going to go for this catch, you got to go for the catch. You cannot catch yourself in the middle of 2 roads because that'll get you eaten alive when it comes to top players. So yeah, that's the first thing when it comes to mentality. So the second one we're going to talk about is your play style. This is things I see a lot of players get confused and they don't quite understand everything about dodgeball. Is some people, they see me play or they see other people play and they go, "Oh, well, I want to move like them. I want to be like them." The first thing you have to look at is yourself. You have to look at, okay, what body type do I have? What strengths and weaknesses do I have? If you're, a heavier set, you're not going to be able to move as someone, that has a smaller body type, and that's totally fine. You just have to adapt to your own playing style and you have to adapt to your own body. I see a lot of players who, are either smaller and they reach a lot and they go for catches when their body type would favor them moving more. And I see a lot of bigger people in dodgeball. They go more towards dodging and throwing themselves around, which is totally fine. Look, if that's something you want to do, that's totally fine. But I just think that players, you need to look at yourself. You need to look at, okay, if I'm not as quick as others, maybe I should be setting myself up for catches more. If I'm quicker than others, maybe I shouldn't be going for catches as much and I need to be moving more. So this is a big thing when it comes to staying alive is, you know, telling yourself and, really thinking about how do you want to play dodgeball? Do you want to be a crazy dodger? Do you want to be the guy who catches? Do you want to be a little bit of both? There's nothing wrong with being both. But like I said, just know your playing style. Don't try to play like others. It's okay to adapt things from other players, but do not try to just copy everyone else's moves. Just play your own game, create your own game, create your own move sets, and play how your body allows you to play. All right, the last thing we're going to go over is your actual move set in dodgeball. This is something that obviously is going to take the most work. It's going to be something that takes the most skill. This working on your movements in dodgeball takes time, and it's just like dancing. You have to choreograph stuff. You have to practice things. But let's get right into a few things that I like doing when I'm playing middle, and let's go with the ball first, and then we'll go without a ball playing middle. So normally when I have a ball in middle, when you're middle and with the ball, the main thing that you want to do is make your teammates safe. You want people to throw at you. When you have a ball, you can protect yourself. Your other teammates cannot. So when I have a ball in the middle, I'm always pump faking, always making people look at me, always drawing attention. So that's a big thing when you have the ball in the middle. But at the same time, you need to stay alive. Nothing's more important than playing your life in the middle. The more numbers you have, the more chances you are to win the game. So that's the biggest thing, is just staying alive in the middle with the ball, drawing attention. And that's very difficult. It's way easier said than done. But some things that I like to work on when I'm playing middle, I get a target out and I'll work on going from the block position to countering, and then I'll counter the target. And I'll do this, 100 times in a day if that's what I'm doing for the day. So that's something you want to work on, is just going from blocking to countering as quickly as you can. That's going to be a great move to number one, work on your counter accuracy, and also work on going from a blocking position to a throwing position quickly. But yeah, that's with the ball. Now we're going to be getting into moves without a ball, and this is the most difficult part of dodgeball. And the first thing you have to realize in dodgeball is it's just like hitting in baseball. If the pitcher makes a good pitch, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. If someone makes a good throw in dodgeball, no matter how good you move, even if you see it coming, sometimes people just make great throws, and that happens more and more the higher up you get in dodgeball. So the first move that I like doing a lot, obviously everyone knows it, is jumping. Jumping is awesome. Let's say you're down a lot, and right before they throw, you think someone's going to throw at you, and so instead of just staying down, you just go for a quick jump. Things like that, they miss your feet. That works great. I wouldn't recommend jumping too much though, just because you leave yourself very exposed. Let's say they pump fake. They pump fake you, you're screwed. You're stuck in the air. You can't make a secondary move. So I would say jump as little as possible. It's a good move to throw in every once in a while, but not all the time. Something else that I've learned along the way of dodgeball, which is the greatest thing that I've learned in the past year, hurting my shoulder was one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me in dodgeball, mainly because I got to work on every other aspect of my game. And lateral movement is the most important part of dodgeball. But anyway, let's get into it. So let's say you don't have a ball in the middle. What I like to do in the middle a lot is communicate with my team. If someone's to my left, I'll tell them, hey, look, I'm going to slide left when they throw, just so you don't collide. That's very important when you're playing middle, is communicating with your team, so you prevent injuries, you prevent, anything crazy happening. That's very important, is communication in the middle. So lateral movement, to work, a great drills to work on that is the ladder footwork drills. Just going from shuffling down to shuffling down. That's a very nice key set, important moves to dodgeball. So like I was saying, lateral movement. Whenever you move laterally, you're way harder to hit. And another amazing thing about moving laterally is you can always make secondary and third movements whenever you move laterally. So things that I like to do when I move laterally is keep myself in positions to where if they do hit me, I can catch it. Obviously not going to catch it every time, but what you want to do in dodgeball is always put yourselves in positions to succeed. So, if I move laterally, I'll move low. And so I'm always still there for that catch if it's there. And let's say I move laterally and it pump fake. Guess what? I can move laterally again, and I can move laterally again. That's the amazing thing about lateral movement, is you can always move more and more and more. But yeah, that's lateral movement. One other thing about moving is you can always lay down. And I know that sounds silly, but laying down is also an awesome tool. Let's say, your team gave up 5 balls and you really don't have anywhere to move. Let's say there's 4 or 5 people on the court. Laying down, is one of the hardest positions to hit as a player throwing. Just because you're exposed, very little. Throwing low is a lot more difficult than throwing high when it comes to dodgeball. So laying down is always a great move. So yeah, guys, that's been the video. Leave some comments down in the comment section. Just let me know what else you guys want to hear. Let's talk about, other movements, things that you liked or disliked from this video. But yeah, I hope everyone's having a productive day, and I hope everyone has a good night.